know you got a thing for you. And you know I got a thing for you. Boy, you know you got a thing for you. And you know I got a
Hello, and welcome to Conversations with Reverend G. I'm here every Monday night on WEMS Radio from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., bringing you conversations, spiritual conversations from people from all walks of life, all types of careers, and doing a lot of different things in this world. What I like about it is that I feel that spirituality can impact you in all ways in your life, and it impacts each person differently. So I'm excited to bring different guests on who can talk about how spirituality has impacted their lives. And in sharing that with us, we can maybe learn something from them, find some new ways of dealing with things. And in this time of COVID and California burning and people getting killed, we need a lot of support for our spiritual and our mental health. So I hope that when you're watching the show on Monday nights, that you'll tune in and that you'll walk away feeling better and feeling a lot hopeful, I would say. Because one of the things that I love doing is supporting people and finding joy. So for me, it's like, let's get joy and let's find some joy and live our best life. And I'm always about, living with grace and ease. So if you can follow me, I'm on Instagram as Rev Granetta, and I give you some spiritual updates. And I'm on Facebook as Reverend Granetta Briggs Mason. Also, you can find me on YouTube. So I'm really happy that you joined me tonight. And tonight, my special guest is Donna Pryor Kelsey. Donna is a business success coach. She laughs all the time, so she has a great way of getting others to laugh. And we know that laughter is like cleansing and freeing. She calls herself a spiritual optimist, and she's done a lot of great things in her life and in her career that she could share with us. I've known Donna for many, many years. We've been business partners and spiritual partners, and I'm excited to have her here to give you a perspective and support you in this time. So, Donna, welcome. Come on in and let's have some spiritual conversations. She's coming in now. Hello. Okay, you are you speaking?
Yeah, no. Hi, I'm
You're already laughing and we didn't even get started yet.
right.
So, introduce yourself, right? How go for it.
Okay. Hi, all. I'm Donna Pryor Kelsick, and I'm a business success coach. I love doing that because I'm an entrepreneur at heart, and I've had a lot of experience with owning my own business. I owned a weight loss franchise, and I have lots of hands-on experience on how to run all of the operations of a business. So I like to share that with my clients and help them to create their business dream. And I really enjoy that because it's kind of like birthing a baby. I get to help coach them through the whole process. I use strategic visualization as part of the process, helping them to strategically look forward to see what they want their business to look like as a success in the future. And so kind of use that type of visualization tools in business as well as in my own personal life. I'm also, I call myself a spiritual optimist because I
Mhm.
try to be optimistic about everything. But in those times when, you're challenged, I have to really go deep to a spiritual place in order to get back to looking at things optimistically. And in these crazy times, we all need some process to get from the bad to the good. So I use that a lot. Also, what else do I want you to know about me? I've been married for 40 years, and that's unique in this this century. So that's been a roller coaster ride and ups and downs. But again, using all the spiritual tools that I've developed, on the spiritual journey, that's helped me just create a better way of being, which is a book I'm writing. Um, just plugging that.
Mhm.
Also, as part of the whole, marriage and relationships, I have two daughters and two wonderful daughters, and a brand new grandbaby who's 9 months old.
Mhm.
So I get a lot of pleasure at that, and that's when the laughter comes into play. I try to use laughter in everything that I do, business and personal, and just encouraging people to laugh even when things don't look so good. And that's a real challenge. But I've tried to do that throughout my life. I've always been laughing. As a child, my mother
Mhm.
said I laughed in my sleep. If you know me and you know me well, you know I laugh a lot and I enjoy life. And I try to share that with other people and show them how they can laugh at themselves and laugh at things in order just to shift from feeling bad to feeling good. So that's a little bit about myself. And
Yeah,
uh,
so what I thought about when you were talking about being a business success coach, right now, small businesses are really, really struggling. And I was looking today at like information, not having all the right information, especially with our people, right? And getting the right information. What kind of tips would you give right now? Because people are getting the money, kind of not knowing what to do with it, kind of losing it, the bank's taking it. You know, what kind of success tips could you give now about that?
okay, yeah, that's a real issue because I used to work at the Small Business Development Center, so I've worked with a lot of small business loans, and I've helped clients get those. So the critical point in any kind of government funds that are coming to you as a business is that you have to make sure your business is set up in the right format.
Mm-hmm.
There's this the Schedule Cs or just a regular corporation. I like LLCs, and I usually show my clients how to set those up because that's what big businesses do. And that way, you can take the money and put it in through your business, flow it through the business. But you have to make sure that you have the business set up properly in the right format, the corporation, LLC, and then you also have to make sure that you set the business up correctly. You have to have separate business accounts for your business versus your personal. You cannot commingle funds.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of rules and regulations that the government has. And so what I would tell anybody is to seek out expert advice. Go to a financial planner, go to an attorney, not a, well, an attorney also, that's good, but a
Mm-hmm.
tax person,
Mm-hmm.
somebody that can help you with the financial aspects of it, because that's where most businesses are not successful. They don't have the financial expertise to make sure that the business will be successful. So uh, I would say definitely get with someone that has some financial experience to help you set it up correctly so there won't be any problems going down the line. Because basically the PP money that is available to small businesses right now can be taken as a grant if you follow the rules correctly. But if you don't, it will become a loan. And that's
Oh,
what
okay.
that's what they're counting on. See, with the government, everything is about following all of the rules to a T. And if you don't, they'll pull the money, they'll pull whatever you have. So it's really critical to have someone that has some expertise with how that whole process works.
Right. Okay. Okay. That's good information because, as I said, there's so much going on, and in any way that we can support people during this time. While you were talking about that, I always talk about like spirituality and the impact of that. You say you owned your own business, a weight loss center. And can you talk a bit about, in that experience as an entrepreneur, what spiritual practices might have supported you, and if your spiritual practices have changed from then to now, and how people can use spiritual practices in their business life, right? I'm always trying to bring it around to, okay, everything that we do, there must be a way, right? that we can use spirituality in it. And I get that there is, because it's so broad what spirituality means, and it's an individual thing also. So talk, that's, you got the question, right?
Right. I hear you.
Just get to it, Netta. What's the question, right?
I got it. I understand it.
Okay, all right.
Well, I think spiritual tools, what I've used in the past, that was, again, I always go to visualization. I've been using visualization personally and professionally for some years now, and I'm always in the process of refining it because I feel like that is a real key to visualization. So, and part of that, the refining it comes down to self-reflection, and that's what I used when I bought my weight loss franchise. I did a lot of self-reflection because I had to determine, was this something that I was really passionate about? Because I believe that, if you're not passionate about something like a big, take a business, opening a business is a big challenge. And so I think if you're not passionate about it, it may not be the road that you want to take. Because there's a lot of work. It's 24/7. I went from a corporate job that I thought was a lot to a 24/7 small business, and that was even more because you can call in sick to a real job, but when you have a business, you can't call in sick. So, so I used a lot of self-reflection to really determine if this was something I wanted to do, and I think everybody needs to, kind of go down that road. Then I kind of implemented the visualization, visualizing what I wanted the business to look like, what I wanted it to be, and then kind of setting out a plan of action based on that visualization. Kind of, I always say bite-sized pieces. So I kind of look at it in bite-sized pieces as how I would accomplish that ultimate goal that I had visualized in what I wanted. And I think that's something I use over and over, and it's helpful in any kind of goal. But again, I think it all starts back at the first step, and that's really kind of self-reflection. Because you really have to, you have to ask yourself some deep questions. Is this something that is going to make me happy? If I'm doing it 24/7, is it something that I'm going to be of service to others? So what things bring you satisfaction, and joy?
So, okay, what I hear is like, it's sort of that sometimes we don't think about that though. We're like, okay, I'm going to go make this money, or somebody will come to me and say, oh, I have this great idea, you want to do it? And there's no like time for me to say, oh, well, am I passionate about it? Have I thought about it? So there's that space for being adventurous, I would say. Right? And I get too that at a certain point, you step back up, you've done a lot of things, and you say, oh, now, well, what am I passionate about, right? It's sort of like moving to that stage. Right. And I guess I say that because it sounds like here's the formula, right? We find out, oh, what are we passionate about? And then we make these decisions about choosing. And then sometimes, and we can sometimes get in our way and not be as adventurous about stepping into things, right? And as we step out there, I think we can then say, okay, so I'm out here, right? And then there becomes things like the fear, worry, and doubt. That then we have to find some tools as we're out there, like living and doing the things that we want, right? What kind of things, tools like that you were thinking about? Because I always think about worry, fear, and doubt. We talk about that all the time, are the three things that kind of hold us back. And in a business adventure, I'm sure there's a lot of,
Yes.
because as sole proprietor, or you've invested all your money in this dream, is it a dream kind of thing? So tools to support um, people.
Okay, yeah, and for me, I kind of always look at a shifting process. If
Mhm.
the worry, fear, and doubt come into play, you have to acknowledge that it could be real. But then I
Mhm.
also, once I look at that, so that could be the worst case scenario. Then I try to shift it over to, well, what's the best case scenario? And the way that I bridge that gap is I use what I call focused positive thinking. And I
Mhm.
try to replace all of that worry, fear, and doubt. I let it go, release all that,
Mhm.
and try to replace it with positive thoughts, words, and actions.
Mhm.
And I think if, and then you have to have consistency, because, it's easy to think a positive thought, but if you don't, think it enough, if you don't focus on it, then the worry, doubt, and fear creep back in. So it's a
Mhm.
constant, I believe it's a constant effort, because, the worry, fear, and doubt is always going to be creeping up, and
Right.
in a business, many things go wrong. So it's going to be
Mhm.
a constant, challenge here, there. And I think that was what got me through. I would always come back to, okay, take a moment, breathe, and
Mhm.
how are we going to release that worry, fear, and doubt, and how are we going to replace it with positive thoughts, whatever that may be in relationship to that specific issue,
Mhm.
and
Mhm. Mhm.
that's kind of how I process it. And then I look at it as, okay, well, if this is a problem, am I part of the problem, or am I part of the solution?
Mhm.
So, if all I see is problem, then I try to hash out, well, what are the solutions to this problem?
Mhm. Mhm. Okay, that sounds really good to me. It brings to mind to me when I think about the choice of owning your own business and working in a company, right? And the different things that come up for in both of those choices, right?
Mhm,
And
mhm,
especially thinking about having a career. One thing you can think about, going to work, it's not 24/7, but
mhm.
sometimes you could be, those 7 or 8 hours can be like the worst, right? You know what I'm saying? It can be
Right, right, right.
where,
Exactly.
that time, in the work can be the worst. So it is a balance between, do I really want to own my own business, or
Mhm,
how do I find that career that works, like Jazzy was talking about, right? Finding
mhm,
something that you love. And
mhm,
that's interesting for me, because I wonder how many people really get the opportunity to sit down and say, these are my strengths. This is my passion. This is what I want to do. And it
mhm,
would be great for people to have that opportunity, embrace that as something that will support them in being happy. As much
mhm,
as we hear people talk about, oh, I just have to go to work, I just have to make the money, what supports them in that shift,
mhm.
and finding the career that they love. So,
Right. Yeah, I think, yeah, that's a big question that you have to ask, because usually when I sit down with a client, the first time that I talk with them, it's all about finding out if they're a true entrepreneur. You
mhm,
know, there's an entrepreneurial spirit that entrepreneurs have. I've been feeling like I've been an entrepreneur since I was a kid. I've
mm,
always wanted to, have that some kind of control, and it's not everybody. It's not for the faint of heart, because
mm,
there's no guarantees. You're
mhm,
taking a calculated risk, but in a snap of a fingers, it could go south. And so,
mm.
you got to be ready for that kind of a poker player since I was a kid. And I've always taken a calculated risk. And so, and that's part of an entrepreneurial spirit. So that's when I first meet with a client, I kind of go through that process to determine. I ask the questions that make them think to see if they really are a true entrepreneur, because everybody wants to own the business.
Yeah.
Everybody. It sounds great, but let
It
me tell you.
does, right? Sounds like the way
Let
to
me
make
tell
the
you,
money,
been there,
right?
done there is not all that it's cracked up to be. I'm telling you, it's a great
Sounds like
experience.
the thing, right? But I think also with how people are treated in corporate with all of the problems that we've had within that system and the racism, it may seem like, yes, let's just break out, right? And have our own, because I know from my experience, it was always a struggle to be 110% to get to where I had to go. So it felt like, yeah, well, this is not working. I want to break out of this, right?
Right.
So even we talk about like the racism, systemic racism is just so prevalent everywhere, even in work. And then I think we know we need to make money and we go in and we take it as long as we can and we shift and we do it and we all these things until it gets to a point where you really, really, really get tired of it, right? And I think right now for me is the time of recognizing that I'm upset about all that, right? And I have pushed it and pushed it and pushed it. And so I think it's about healing all of that, And when we talk about the injustices, I mean, the police killings, so many different things are happening. It's a moment to like really say, well, how do you really feel about it? How do we heal? And in healing, we move forward. So, yeah, can you talk about some of your feelings about what's going on now and how would you suggest that people, because I want to support people in their mental and spiritual health, and these conversations that I'm having are to kind of enlighten, inspire. Maybe you'll hear something that'll support you in moving forward and having what you want.
Yeah, no, that's a good question, because it's I think there's a lot of frustration out here now, and I understand in the corporate world, there always was, that kind of frustration, especially for women. I was in corporate for 20 plus years, and moving up the managerial roles and all that, but always there was that, there was there was a lot of racism, because as a Black woman in corporate America, that's a tough, we're at the bottom of the pole, and so that was something that always, frustrated me. But, you have to play the game because you're in the corporate world. And so it does lead to a lot of frustration. And, and that was one of the reasons why I went out and went on my own. But I know a lot of people that are in corporate. Both of my daughters, both of them corporate. So, and I've seen, just how Black women are treated. And it is a systemic racism that, is based on the fact that, who built these corporations? Same, that same, frustration level that we feel in the corporations is the same frustration level that's felt outside in the world today with the police. All of these systems were set up not to have our best interest at heart. And so therefore, there is a lot of anger, a lot of hatred going on right now. And I think that, spiritually, we all have to figure out a way to communicate enough so that we can come together and try to heal. And the only healing that can take place, I really believe, is we all have to be ready to listen and communicate with each other, as well as being empathetic, because empathy is all about walking in another person's shoes. And I think
Mhm.
that's the basic problem today. Nobody wants to understand what, my shoes feel like, and that causes anger, because then I feel like people are not appreciating, what I have to offer. And I think everybody's feeling that level of frustration right now.
Mhm.
And I think, it's at this point in time, the spiritual tools that I use is because it is you get angry and you get frustrated with what's going on. And we've been around a long time, so we've
I was
seen.
gonna say we've been through a lot of this, right? That did come to my mind, right? I was like, whoa,
Right.
we've
We've
been
seen a
around
lot
a
of it.
long time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And so and we,
So it
so
feels like, yeah, and we can still laugh and find joy. But I also think that too, there's a new freedom in acknowledging the
mhm,
pain,
mhm,
acknowledging that I'm upset or that I'm
mhm,
angry, as
mhm.
opposed to just pressing it down, right?
Right, right.
And then in acknowledging it, then that's a really good step in there, releasing and letting it go
Right,
and moving forward, right?
right.
What kind of things we were talking about corporate America, and I was 25 years in corporate America. And
Mhm,
while I was there from my time back then, if you said anything, they put you on the diversity committee. So there I was, I'm always talking. So I was always on the diversity committee, but what were we really doing? We were meeting, right? And we were meeting, and we were going to these meetings, and we were talking about let's bring some diversity in. And
mhm,
it was always, for me, a person that always wanted to speak out and have something to say. I was always stopped short, right?
mhm,
Of
mhm.
like saying, come on, people, let's rise up. Because it's been a hard time, right? Um, but it feels like it's been going on so long. Right now, we have some attention of some people. So,
Mhm,
I feel like, what should we be saying? How do you rectify this in corporate America? Let us see some more people in charge. And you can look throughout all the systems and see
mhm,
how it's not working. So,
mhm.
what kind of things have you thought about? And I know we don't have all the answers that we could put
Right,
forward at this time while they're listening. If they're
right.
listening, really, we think they're listening, right?
Well, I think we have the attention of people that can make the changes. And I think that's important.
Mm-hmm.
What I do have, I'm feeling very frustrated, very angry at times, but I do have hope because I see the young people,
Mm-hmm.
they are on the front lines
Mm-hmm.
as we were many, many moons ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they seem to be very determined not to let this um, inequality continue. And that to
Mm-hmm.
me gives me a lot of hope, and I think we have the wisdom to guide them
Mm-hmm.
because we've seen the different kind of protests, we've seen the
Mm-hmm.
different kind of, uprisings that can, be effective. So I think
Mm-hmm.
if we help guide them and we get in and contribute our knowledge and our wisdom and share that with them, I
Mm-hmm.
think that I really feel like this is an opportunity for change. But I think we have to get into every aspect of the racism because it's systemic. So
Mm-hmm.
therefore, it's in the housing industries, it's in
Mm-hmm.
banking, it's in corporations.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just one particular area. We have healthcare. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
all of these. So all of our experts that are out there, I think we need to be, and I think I'm seeing that. I'm very interested in this whole voting process because I think that's very important. That's the one tool we all can use. And so I'm getting involved in a lot of these register to vote communities and making sure that people are educated because I think that's the biggest problem in the whole voting arena is that we're not educated or informed and uh, we may miss a deadline because we didn't know about it. But
Mm-hmm.
what I'm seeing going on right now is a lot of these organizations are making sure that everybody is educated and
You
knows.
know what? Just also, that's interesting when you said, register to vote. I'm all for that, and I think
Mhm.
that's great. But we've been voting for a while, right?
Well, mhm.
And no,
But not
I'm not this.
necessarily.
No, I'm not this. No, wait. Let me finish.
Go ahead,
My
good.
whole thought is yes, everybody get out there and vote, but the vote's going to be over in November, right? And then we'll have somebody and we'll deal with that somebody. What else? What else? What else do we get to do, right? And I want to put voting as the number 100% thing that we do, but I also would like to say what other things, because I look at I'm a big sports fan, okay? And it's Monday night. Monday night football's on. My Giants are playing. I have to DVR them. But I I was excited when they first said they were gonna not play and all of that. But I look at it, I look at the sports players as being influential, right?
Mhm.
When I look at them in their roles, they have the power. Because if those boys didn't play ball, would there be a game? It's how
Right,
I
right,
look
right.
at it. Right? It wouldn't be a game,
That's
right?
the truth. That's the
I mean,
truth.
I
Right.
just swear, if they didn't play ball, it wouldn't be a game. But
That's the truth.
so, and what I felt like, okay, they're gonna get it. They're gonna all come together, and then this power that they have, this influence that they have, they'll use it, right?
Mhm.
And I'm not giving up on them, right? But I'm a little like, hey, wait a minute, y'all made this big noise. Now what's next? How are we gonna do this, right? And what are we gonna do? And I think it's always been a thing for me of how us people of color, how we Black people come together and support each other.
Right.
Why don't we think of some way where all you guys with all the money help the guys with no money, right? I
Right.
don't know,
Right.
right? You know what I'm saying? Not happen, but
Right.
no, and I
Right.
get new guy, new football player. You want your money. You've been playing hard all your life. You coming into the NFL, right? You ready, right? It's just
Mhm.
so much under it and so much going on. At what point do we get? How do we stick together? At what
Right.
point do we get? Remember, what do we talk about? The little stores where they have 8 people and they get one store and they buy another store for another
Right.
person. At what
Exactly.
point do
Exactly.
we get to do that? And it just clicked into my mind about that community. We have a college roommate. Donna,
Yeah.
you know a little bit about that community,
Right.
but that's the kind of thing that makes me feel empowered and it feels great that we're moving in a direction.
Right, right. And I've been following that, and yeah, that's the kind of organization that we have to do once we vote and we actually get
Yeah, we
somebody
gotta
in.
vote. We gotta
Right.
vote.
So once you move past that, yeah, the next step is to organize so that we are looking. It's all about money. You know, cash is king, and whoever has the cash has control. So, you know, if we can actually pull together the money that it takes to invest in assets, because we invest, you know, but people of color unfortunately don't always invest in assets. So if we can come together and, like you said, all the people with the money, if they start investing in opportunities that will help everyone, I think that'll make a big difference. And that's what's happening down here in Georgia. I think 19 families of color came together and bought 97 acres. This is it's a little town called Toomsboro, Georgia, outside, about 2 hours outside of Atlanta. They've come together, they've bought these 97 acres. Now they're planning to, you know, keep the dollar in the community and build the community up. And that's the kind of thing that we need to do. And right, one of my college roommates, I saw was involved in some aspect of it. But I think those are the kind of you know, organizations that need to be formed, and it is all about cash. So if we can come together, and the people with money come together with other people that can organize and put together. This was two young Black female real estate agents that pulled it all together. They sat down. They said they had done all the petitions and the rallies and the protests, and they wanted to do something real, some real, you know, actual action. And so that's what they came together. They said, well, let's buy some land, because land is an asset, and that's what we need. We people of color need is more assets. And I commend them for doing that. And I was really interested, and I would like to see more of those kind of like co-ops coming together and, building something that will be lasting. Because that's what our problem is now. We don't have anything, any legacy to leave to our children, our grandchildren, and I think that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to bring together, families and build assets so that they would have a legacy to leave to the, future children, grandchildren. So I
Yeah,
think that was
it's
great.
interesting when we talk about legacy building because there's this one side of me that's saying, yeah, I get that. And we've been talking about it. And then I hear this other side of me where these people are saying, put this money together and you put $400 in and you get 1,000 out, right? And they're calling that legacy too, right? So it was like, my mind goes here and there. It's like, yeah, we do. And what does it really look like to set up something for future generations? I think that's more what we're talking about. What does it look like? And they can be really discouraged right now looking around at everything that's going on and the way it is. But I know they'll survive. It'll just evolve and evolve. But we just have to go through this period of I don't even know what to call it. Like this period of
Trial and tribulation.
unrest. Like, look at those fires burning out of control. Look at all of the weather conditions and how it. Look at climate change. Right, all this stuff. Right, that
It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming.
it can be overwhelming, and that's why I was like, "Yay, we want to talk about the spiritual and mental tools." I think we got into talking about how bad it is, but there's like, what do we do? It's like not focusing on that, and it's about looking at not trying or living in a way where all this is going on, but you can find something in here that makes you feel good. You can find a moment where you can remember something that brings you joy. And that can be tough because it's like everything builds. If you are in a negative space and you're thinking about a lot of negative things, then it's going to be one negative thing after the next, right? And it's just going to be a building and a building. So I really am a big proponent of trying to find that one little joy moment in there, right? And if you can laugh, right? I can laugh about a lot of things, right? Because I could twist it in my mind. I don't know. And it's not always a good thing. Donnie I've gotten in real trouble for laughing, right? At inappropriate times.
Yes, we have.
Doing some crazy laughing, and she's running from me, and I'm laughing, and we're being really silly, right? But mostly we laugh a lot. They were like, people are attracted to people, and we get each other with our laughing. Not everybody, but we get each other because we make each other laugh. But let's talk about that, Donna, because you were like the laughter coach. So give some, talk a little bit about how laughter supports and how it is important for everybody.
Right. Well, they say laughter is the best medicine, and there was a reason they say that. It actually releases endorphins and actually makes you feel better. So, like I said, I've always loved to laugh since I was a kid, and and then I'm attracted to people that laugh, and that's why we were attracted. That's why we've been friends for so many years since college. I mean, because when someone gets the laughter part of it, then it makes it easier to just be.
Hang out with them, yeah.
but the way to get there for people that don't know how to laugh all the time or can't appreciate the I feel like I start with myself. I have to be able to laugh at myself. Okay. Then and that way it allows me to see things a little bit from a different perspective and able to laugh at some things that may not be funny, but I look at it in terms of, well, it really, what else can you do but laugh? It's better than crying. And also what I do is I've always watched a lot of comedies, love comedies. And
Mm.
my latest thing that I'm doing is because I have this new grandbaby and she's laughing in it now. And that just, laughter is contagious. So I laugh when I see her laugh. And so I've been just like watching videos of babies laughing and giggling. That will make you laugh if you've never laughed before. I mean, to the point where it's a belly laugh. So
Mm.
that's what I've been showing to my husband because he doesn't laugh as much as I do. So
Mhm.
I'm always trying to get him to, figure out how to laugh. So I've been showing him these videos, and he can't help but laugh. So I
That's a good.
advise you to just pull some videos up of baby laughing, giggling babies.
Mhm.
It'll change your mood like that, and
Mhm.
that's how, what I do is I just try to find simple things that can just shift me from, it's so easy to go down the rabbit hole right now into,
Mhm.
misery and gloom, because that's all you see on the TV, that's all you hear when you talk to people. So in order to come out of that, quickly, that's one of the things I've been doing lately, and it really works. Besides that, like I said, I watch a lot of comedies. When I really, I talk to you every day, so we laugh all the time. So, I encourage you find a partner or
I
someone
love
that
it,
likes to
buddy.
laugh. Somebody likes to laugh as much as you do, and
Mhm.
stay in contact with them. Um, those are the kind of little things you could do right now, because it's hard to find anything because we're stuck in our houses. So
And
you got to
laughter is contagious. Remember that time we went to the restaurant and it was Millicent? We were in the middle of the
Oh, right,
restaurant
right,
and she just started
yeah,
laughing really, really loud.
right.
And the whole
Oh,
entire restaurant just started laughing, right? So it
mhm.
was like a contagious kind of thing, but you had to be bold to do it the way she did, right? Just
Right,
to
right,
start just
exactly.
laughing in the middle of the restaurant. But that was the one time where you really saw the shift. The whole place shifted.
Hmm.
Everybody was
Hmm.
laughing, and it was a great experiment to see how laughter can be contagious.
Right.
Um, Donna, would you say are your three main spiritual? We talk about the spiritual toolkit. I'm always talking about the spiritual toolkit and designing your own spiritual toolkit. And
Right.
what it is, it has your own personal
Hmm.
practices in it. And you
Hmm.
can rotate them and you can use them at different times, but it's personal to you because
Hmm.
there's so many different practices, and it's really great to experiment with a lot of different ones to figure out what works for you. So I
Right.
like to ask people like what are their top three and ones that they can recommend, because it gives people ideas also on what other things they could use as a spiritual practice.
Right, right. Yeah. And yeah, definitely. We talk about spiritual practices all the time. The ones that I find, and it's like you said, it's about finding the right combo or, whatever works for you. What I find works for me is gratitude is my number one spiritual tool. I use that when I wake up in the morning. I am thankful. I sit and make a list in my mind of all the things I have to be thankful to start my day. And
Mhm,
that just puts me in a really good frame of mind and, to kick it off. And
mhm,
then I try to do that in the morning when I wake up and at night before I go to sleep. And if
mhm,
I'm having a really bad, moment at any point during the day,
mhm,
I find I can just, go there, take a moment, breathe, and think about everything I have to be grateful for. And it works for me. I'm getting my husband to do that, and I'm finding, and we're just newly retired, so we're trying to find how to work, 24 7 hours together. So, you know,
mhm.
and
Right.
so I'm trying to share what works for me with him, and that seems to be working. So I would say gratitude is my number one.
Mhm,
Uh, then, as I mentioned before, self-reflection. I find that I'm always on this journey, and I'm always trying to evolve and refine the practices that I have, and I have to really look at me and go deep within to ask the hard questions. Why are you doing this? Why, is this making you happy? Is this, and it helps me to better move forward in pursuing the things that really bring me joy.
mhm.
And that's important, I think, to do on a regular basis. And then I think the other one is just laughter. I laugh every day, quite often, and
Mhm.
that just, to me, it just as when I in the times when I go down the rabbit hole, after I've watched the news and feeling really kind of depressed, I'll watch, I'll go get a video of some laughing babies, and
It's a
that,
lot, baby. That's a
and
good one, right, baby?
I'm
That
telling
is.
you, everybody try it. You can't, I mean, maybe just because I'm a grandma right now and I'm just loving, these little babies that laugh, but that's a real quick, easy one. And I watch comedies and, just whatever, or just call somebody that is a joyful person and likes to laugh and just, ask them to tell you a joke, like you, Granetta.
Comedian. I just thought about it. You was like the grandma, the laughing babies, 40 years married. That is something. I would just like to say OMG, right?
I would like to say the same.
So, Donna, how did you stay married for 40 years?
It's
What spiritual practices kind of play, right?
That's been a
That,
scary.
40 years of marriage. Wow. That's beautiful. Really. I have to say that is wonderful. And it looks like you guys are retired together and working towards, 40 more, right? But
There's been a lot of spiritual practices that I've used, and I think, to me, I've kind of narrowed it down to just like 3 major components. One thing that I have to say is that my mother and father were married for 40 plus years, and that was a good model. Okay, so I learned a lot from that. And what I learned from that was, you have to, the critical components is you have to be compassionate always, and you have to be compromising at all times, and you also have to be able to communicate. That's the last thing that we've been working on lately. After 40 years, you would say, "Oh, you should know how to communicate by now." We are just now figuring out how to communicate, and the major portion of that is listening. I call it listening with your inner ear, because we all listen, we think we hear, but that's not the case in most, because if you're not on the same wavelength, if the 2 people stand together, talk, and then walk away, and they're not on the same wavelength, you really didn't communicate. And so that's what we're really learning right now. And because marriage is a work in process. It's not, I'm not going to tell anybody it's the easiest thing you ever, it's not. It's a work in progress, and you have to both be committed. So there's a lot of C's going on, you got to be committed. Because I'm finding today, a lot of people, if it gets hard, which it will, they're willing.
She says, guaranteed to get hard, right?
They just want to walk away. They
Right.
want to throw out the commitment. But so I think that's part of the whole package. Is you got to be committed to the whole work in progress.
It's like I understand what you're saying. One of the big components is communication. And communication is big, and that is huge, because seeing what you feel and being able to really talk to another person. And you did say something important about listening too, because a lot of the time we aren't really listening. We're thinking about what we're going to say next, right? And it takes a lot to really listen and not have to be right, but understand where the other person is coming from. It's a lot. It's something. Really, that's why I was like, girl, 40 years, it's something, right? To,
and you're on 15, so that's it.
Yeah, but not 40, right? 15. Right? So it does take a lot of patience, compassion, and communication, and so those are some of the spiritual tools that we use all the time. And that's why I like looking at it from in your everyday life. We talk about religion, we talk about spirituality, but just looking at it from, everyday life. How is this impacting me in my everyday life, right? And using it as such.
Right. Right.
to really support. It's my mind goes to, like, we grew up in the church. You go to church on Sunday, and then on Monday you go do whatever you're gonna do, and then you come back on Sunday and you go to church. And then I don't even like. I feel like this show on Monday. I want you to come to the show, take something out through the week, right? And then come back again, and just
Mm-hmm.
really make it so that some gems are dropped, so
Mm-hmm.
that when you leave, you're inspired. I want you to feel joy. I want you to find that space where, yeah, I want to find some joy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as Donna said, seek some help. Find a laughing buddy or find somebody that can support you. I've had a couple of groups on of communities and tribes, right? Of people who have gotten together, they're like minded, they speak the same language, and they've just found community. And I think we all look for community. We're all looking to share and have a voice. So I'm excited about all the different guests that I've had on the show and come on, because we can learn something about how to function now and live in this world. So Donna, what kind of parting things would you like to leave us with, and talk about your books? Because you have a couple of books that you're writing that I think are really interesting, right?
Okay. Yeah, I'm writing a book. I'm just about finished. Create a better way of being together, of being in relationships. And again, that was I really at this stage of being married and being retired with somebody that I've been with for 40 years. I wanted to make sure that the next however many, we did it right. So I wanted to create a better way. And I think you can always create a better way. And it's
Mm-hmm.
all about, both of us trying to, feel good and figuring out ways to always choose how to feel better. Okay. So that I'm pretty much doing that. And then I'm gonna have a book of affirmations.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of really just wanted to share some of the experiences I've had in these many, many moons that I've been on traveling this journey. And
Oh yeah, yeah. Donna is a traveler too. She
oh,
talks about all the different places, and it's interesting. One of her main things is to travel. Oh my God, what has this year been like, Donna?
oh, oh, this is rough. This has been rough.
She said, "Oh, this is rough."
I don't think I've been in the house for 6 months at a time, and I can't remember how long. I love to travel, and so this is really this has taught me patience and taught me how to
Mhm.
deal with the fact that uh, I have no control. So all I can do is visualize the vacations that I'm going to take as soon as I can. And but it's hard because when you want when you have a passion, that's another one of my passions. So when you have a passion, you want to do it. And this 2020 has really made me sit down and think about well, if I don't have any control over this, how do I handle going forward? And I think it's just really about staying hopeful, that things are going to get better, and then trying to figure out what can I do to help make them better. Right now, all I tell everybody is vote and pray, vote
But
and
she
pray.
said, but it's also too, when we talk about the hard times and everything, there's also the other side of the great stuff that has happened during this time, the
Mhm.
family connections,
Right,
right? To
right.
just being still at some
Hmm.
point, right? Because
Hmm.
we were just like running, 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 moving. And I also like to like say we can acknowledge the break, the
Hmm. Right,
pause,
right, right.
because we probably needed to pause, and
I
we
think
all
so.
pause, and we probably need to pause a little bit more. But everybody is getting anxious, and I just hope that we just move forward safely. We move
Right.
forward safely. And I like that. Vote and pray and stay hopeful, right?
Right. Keep hope alive.
Right. Who knows about that?
Right,
That's
right,
old.
right.
Right? That's
Right.
that's
That's a
dated.
quiz. That's a quiz. How many of you know who said that?
Keep hope alive, right? Well, Miss Donna, it's been great having
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
here,
Well, thank
and
you for
I
having
really appreciate
me.
coming on the show.
Well, I had
We
fun,
have
and thanks for having me.
conversations with Reverend G. So you have a great evening,
All right.
and
You
I'll
too.
be in touch.
All right. Thanks.
All
Bye-bye.
right, bye. Well, everybody, thank you for joining me tonight in Conversations with Reverend G. I am Granetta Mason, aka Reverend G. I can be found on social media as Rev Granetta on Instagram and on Facebook as Reverend Granetta Mason. So I would just love to support you in finding joy and living your best life with grace.
You got all my affection for you all the days. Facing my direction, no, you won't think twice. Excuse all my possessions, now it's time to show me that you want me. Show me that you love me. Show me that you need me. Say you'll be there for me. Care for me, but we both gave up. Can't take it back, so we choose to make love one more time. His heart belongs to me, I gotta let him go somehow. It's time to separate, I got him sailing out. I'm going around in circles, circles, circles. Going around in circles, circles, circles. Hope I'm living for a purpose, purpose. Going around in circles, circles, circles. Booted all my feelings, gotta pay the price. I'm just so sick of seeing far beyond the light. Reflecting your devotion, I became your emotion. Deep as the ocean, my body tells me no, 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 no. I gotta let him no, 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 no. After sexing on the floor, no, 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 no. A broken string, I'm standing naked, I don't know. Can you see what I see? You're proud of who I am. Can you feel what I feel?
I want to welcome him to the show, man. Fleet DJs.
One, two, sound check one. You know what it is.
Word.
It's the Boom Bap Hour.
Up in
Hey.
this motherfucker.
We back, COVID-19 status.
Hey, I guess they
niggas.
opening everything up now, right?
We all 6 feet apart.
6 feet apart.
married for
And I'm on Facebook. Donna is a business success coach. She laughs all the time, so she has a great way of getting others to laugh. And we